Be welcome. Prepare yourself because something grand is about to happen in your life in this exact moment. Even before this prayer begins, heaven has already begun to move around you. There is a light descending, there is an atmosphere being opened, there is a spiritual sign being directed directly to you. Today, the word EFATA echoes in the spiritual world. The same word spoken by Jesus, capable of opening closed doors, healing impossible illnesses, and breaking blockages that no one understood. And this EFATA, this divine open yourself, is being released to touch all the areas of your life. But not only this, the 7 most powerful archangels of the heavens are approaching your home now. 7 pillars of light sent by the Most High to act in your favor. Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Uriel, Selaphiel, Jegudiel, and Barachiel. Each one bringing a specific type of victory. Each one carrying a divine mission. Each one entering your story as an answer for that which seemed impossible. And while this celestial presence approaches, something inside you begins to awaken. An old weight dissolves, a deep peace settles, and a sensation that finally something is changing invades your spirit in a gentle and powerful way. Feel the environment around you change. Feel the light growing over you. Nothing is coincidence when heaven decides to visit a life. And today, heaven decided to visit yours. Stay in silence for an instant. Breathe slowly. Allow this presence to touch your soul, because from now on, nothing will be as before. As this prayer advances, the power of the EFATA begins to move over you like a wave of light that crosses everything that was blocked, stuck, or stagnant in your life. The spiritual begins to realign, like invisible gears that finally return to functioning after a long time stopped. Feel this. The doors that were closed for years begin to give way. The paths that seemed impossible begin to open. That which before required too much effort begins to flow with smoothness. What before was heavy begins to melt like smoke before the light. The EFATA is not a common word. It is a celestial decree. It is the divine permission for life to walk again, for the miracle to happen, for providence to arrive. It is as if heaven were releasing a direct command. Open yourself, free yourself, advance. And this command is being released now over the areas that most need change. Over your financial life, where scarcity tried to build walls. Over your health, where pains and diagnoses tried to limit you. Over your emotions, where memories and old weights tried to hold you. Over your soul, where spiritual battles tried to tire you. And while the EFATA echoes in the invisible, a soft sensation begins to pass through your body, as if a light entered through the ears, through the hands, through the chest. A light that cleans, that reorganizes, that calms. A light that makes you remember that you were never alone, even on the darkest days. Everything begins to respond to the EFATA. Everything begins to obey the divine command. Everything begins to position itself in your favor. And you begin to feel what held you loses strength. What bound you breaks. What delayed you dissolves. What was impossible begins to be possible. This is the beginning of the divine intervention. This is the beginning of the spiritual turning. This is the moment in which heaven says clearly to you, nothing will remain closed before you. As the EFATA expands in the spiritual world, something grand begins to move around you. The heavens open like a curtain of light, and through this divine portal appear the 7 most powerful archangels of the Most High, each one carrying a celestial flame, each one bringing a specific purpose for your life. Michael appears first. His gaze is of fire, his sword is a living flame, his step is firm like thunder. He does not ask where the evil is, he identifies it instantly. And everything the enemy tried to raise against you begins to fall to the ground before his presence. Right behind, Raphael descends like a soft and warm wind. He brings in his hands a luminous oil, and this oil flows over wounds that you did not even know still bled. The illnesses retreat, the fears dissolve. The soul receives a rest that seemed impossible. Then Gabriel approaches. His voice echoes like a trumpet of hope. From him come answers, revelations, directions that clarify the path that was confused. Where before there was doubt, now there is discernment. Where there was silence, Answers from heaven arise. The light increases when Uriel appears. He carries a golden torch that illuminates truth, exposes deceptions, and disperses spiritual darkness. With him, divine wisdom approaches you, that wisdom that reveals paths and saves from decisions destroyed by haste or fear. Selaphiel places himself beside them. He raises his hands in intercession and takes your supplications directly to the throne of the Most High. The prayers that seem to have no strength begin to rise like pure incense, and that which was stuck finally finds an answer. Next, Jegudiel manifests with a banner of honor in his hands. He fights for justice, restitution, and recognition. Where you were humiliated, he places double honor. Where you were forgotten, he opens doors that no one else could open. Finally, Barachiel descends like a rain of colored light. From him sprout blessings, provision, and abundance in all areas. It is as if the heavens poured new opportunities, new resources, and new paths over you. And when the 7 archangels align themselves before your life, something extraordinary happens. The whole environment transforms, the air changes, the weight disappears, the light dominates everything, and a deep sensation that heaven is on your side takes hold of your heart. They did not come to observe. They came to act. They came to restore. They came to open what was closed. They came to protect what is yours. They came to unlock what God had already determined for you. And while they remain around you, the EFATA continues echoing in the invisible, preparing the ground for miracles you never imagined living. Now that the 7 archangels are positioned around you, the EFATA begins to expand like a wave of power that touches each area of your existence. It is as if God were saying, nothing else will remain closed. Nothing else will remain paralyzed. Nothing else will remain in the dark. And the first movement happens in the financial life. The walls that misery raised begin to crumble. Scarcity loses strength. Debts, blockages, delays, and locked doors begin to open one by one. It is the EFATA of Michael and Barachiel declaring abundance, multiplication, and provision over your home. After, the EFATA invades your health. Every illness, physical, emotional, or spiritual, begins to be dissolved by the light of Raphael. Negative diagnoses lose power. Old pains begin to disappear. What was impossible for medicine begins to move in the invisible by the touch of divine healing. The EFATA then reaches your spirit. Everything that weighed internally begins to break. Sadness, exhaustion, silent anguish, night fears, old traumas. The spiritual strength that you felt missing returns. The peace that seemed distant installs itself inside you like a soft mantle. Next, the EFATA extends to your paths. Roots that were closed begin to align. What was stuck begins to flow. What was delayed begins to accelerate. The opportunities that were distant begin to approach. It is Gabriel opening doors, Uriel illuminating choices, and Jegudiel bringing advancement. The EFATA now touches the area of spiritual protection, evil eye, envy, negative words, hereditary curses, works of darkness, invisible attacks. Everything begins to lose strength. No evil finds space where Michael remains. No shadow resists where the divine light ignites. Your house, your life, and your family come to be guarded with celestial vigilance. The EFATA also reaches wisdom and understanding. Your mind opens. What before seemed confused becomes clear. What was doubt becomes direction. What was fear becomes discernment. It is Uriel moving thoughts and guiding important decisions. And lastly, the EFATA surrounds your family. Homes before in conflict begin to feel the presence of peace. Wounded relationships find restoration. Parents, children, marriages, and effective bonds receive healing, forgiveness, understanding, and renewal. It is Selaphiel interceding, Barachiel blessing, Raphael healing, and Michael protecting. One by one, the 7 archangels release the EFATA, and each area of your life begins to breathe again. Nothing stays closed. Nothing stays stuck. Nothing stays forgotten. Everything begins to align with the divine movement. This is the moment in which you feel that something has truly begun to change. Because when God says, "Open yourself," there is no force on earth or in the spiritual world capable of preventing it. Now that each area of your life has been touched by the EFATA, something grand happens in the spiritual world. The 7 archangels approach even more. They are no longer only positioned around you. They enter your story, sealing, confirming, and solidifying everything that has already begun. It is as if the entire heaven leaned down to witness this moment. Michael takes a step forward. He raises his flaming sword and seals your life with total protection. No attack will prosper. No envy will find entry. No contrary work will have strength. The sealing of Michael is definitive, and where he places his shield, evil retreats forever. Raphael extends his hands over you. He fixes the healing that has already begun to act. He restores what still needed to be restored. He strengthens what was weakened. The healing of Raphael now ceases to be a movement and becomes a permanent decree. Gabriel lifts his light. He confirms the open doors. He protects the good news that are arriving. He illuminates the next steps so you do not err the path. Where Gabriel speaks, confusion becomes silent. Uriel approaches with burning wisdom. He seals your mind against doubts and deceptions. He protects your decisions. He guarantees that your discernment remains clear and firm. Nothing more obscure, nothing more confused. Your mind is now aligned with heaven. Selaphiel kneels and takes your life before God. Every prayer, even those that you never managed to express in words, rise now like pure incense to the throne of the Most High. And heaven responds with peace, with direction, with help at the exact time. Jegudiel rises with authority. He confirms the honor, the recognition, and the victory that have already begun to move. He destroys injustices. He knocks down invisible walls. He places over you a seal of merit that no one will be able to steal. Barachiel spreads his blessings like soft rain. He blesses your house, your table, your home, your paths. The prosperity that opened begins now to flow, not like a breath, but like a river that does not cease. And then the 7 archangels together raise their spiritual hands over you. The environment changes. The air changes. The energy changes. Your soul recognizes. And you hear, not with the ears but with the spirit, the word that closes the whole cycle. EFATA. Open yourself. Remain open. Nothing closes. Nothing goes back. Nothing is lost. Everything advances. Everything flourishes. Everything prospers. What God opened, no one closes. What God released, no one holds. What God determined, no one interrupts. This is the final sealing. This is the moment in which heaven confirms it is done. From now on, you walk with the 7 archangels around you. You sleep guarded, you awaken strengthened, you live protected, and no evil will find permission to approach. Because where the EFATA was released, life never again returns to what it was before. The peace that heals, that restores, that strengthens. Stay with God. May the light of the Most High envelop you. May the angels of the Lord guard you, and may the presence of the Holy Spirit walk with you today, tomorrow, and through all the days of your life. Amen.